Now, I don't think there's anybody here who doesn't know what Sqoop does. Sqoop is the tool, the technology that helps you move data from RDBMSs to HDFS and vice versa. You can import, you can export. So we're going to use Sqoop in this very mode. So what are we scooping? We're just going to scoop all the views. We're going to scoop 4 views. We're going to scoop customer, products. We're going to scoop sales order and sales order headers and sales order history. Right? And the query that does that is already done here. So you can go display. This is the entire script that does it. Let me see if there's anything I want to do to this script. No, we connect to AdventureWorks database. We move customer from a particular location to from the database to this location. We're moving them as Parquet data type. I'm going to tell you why I'm choosing Parquet. Then we're using the modified date as the check column. And we're doing an incremental move. And we are splitting by, because these are views, they don't have primary keys. Remember? They are views, they don't have primary keys. And Sqoop needs your primary key. So what we do is we provide a split by key to Sqoop. And we say customer ID in this case, sales order ID in that case. Incremental mode is append. And we use a password file because we don't want to store, we don't want to put a password on command line. Not just for that reason. Secondly, because this tool is going to be used, this Sqoop is going to be eventually used by Uzi. So you would not have the time to create command line. You won't have the time to put password every time you run the script. So what we did is we created a password file. We put it on HDFS. We gave it a limited security, a limited access permission. Then asked Sqoop to use that password file anytime it is trying to run a Sqoop job. Now, thirdly, if you notice, this is not Sqoop import. This is Sqoop job. So what we are doing right now is we're creating a job. We're not creating the Sqoop action. We're creating a job that we will be using subsequently. Classes, we just teach Sqoop import and Sqoop import all tables, right? Import, and you know how to do this. Then Sqoop export. We also show you how to do Sqoop eval, Sqoop lists, tables, and Sqoop list databases. But then we do a lot of Sqoop import. Now, it turns out that when you do Sqoop import, you'll have to put all the parameters yourself, right? Put the parameters yourself. I'm telling you why you need Sqoop import, right? I'm sorry, I'm not writing. I'm so involved talking, I'm not writing. Okay, I think you can watch the videos later and get the idea. But let me write something quickly so we keep track of what we're doing. Okay, so I'll build this later. Sqoop job. Why? So why use Sqoop job? Number one is that you configure once, execute many, and execute always, many times. So you don't enter you don't type all those Sqoop import again. You don't put it in a script. Secondly, you can benefit from incremental loads, right? Incremental loads, and that's, let me explain that benefit from incremental loads. In the real world, you don't do Sqoop once. You can all agree with that, right? You don't do Sqoop once. That means this is your database. When you stop here, Sqoop will import everything from here to here. Tomorrow, we're going to add more data. Tomorrow, when we do business, we're going to add more data. When we run Sqoop, we want Sqoop to only move data from here to here, right? Then on the third day, we'll add more data, and we only want Sqoop to move data from here to here. Now, that is incremental. Now, for you to do this, that means Sqoop needs to know where it stopped. Sqoop needs to know where it stopped so that it can continue. right? Now, if you don't use Sqoop job, how can you do it? You will know where this one stops, then you will write it somewhere. So tomorrow when you execute Sqoop command, you will say where customer ID is greater than, you put this value. You start doing it yourself. But it doesn't make any sense. Why would you do it yourself when Sqoop can do it for you? So you create a Sqoop job. You say this job is an incremental update. So when Sqoop runs, Sqoop will say, I run this job and I stopped at ID 200. So tomorrow when I'm running again, anytime I'm running again, I will start from Sqoop 201. So that is another reason why you want to do Sqoop job. Sorry, that's why you have to do, you want to do, use a Sqoop job instead of a Sqoop import and what have you. Thirdly is that you can see that we're not using the password, so we're automating all those things, and it's a lot easier, right? It's a lot easier. You create once, you reuse many times. So what you can see here is we're using Sqoop job. We're creating a Sqoop job and we're giving it a name. So I will just run all these commands. Okay, let me show you more about Sqoop job. When you do Sqoop job, you put in another parameter. There are other parameters you should put, like list, delete, and all that stuff. So for example, I'll say list. There are no jobs right now in Sqoop. There are no jobs in Sqoop, right? So we're going to create, and you can see the command, create command, and we put the name of the Sqoop job. Then we say it's an import command. If it's export, you put it, then you put everything else as is. So before I do that, I need to create this file. It doesn't exist now. I can create it. That's the password file. So the password to the database is Cloudera, right? It's Cloudera, but I don't want to be typing it every time, more because I'm going to be using Sqoop. I don't want to be typing it every time. So I'm going to just put the password in a file, right? Then I will okay, so once I put it, I will now move it to a HDFS. Let me think of where I'm going to put it in HDFS. 8. Okay. HDFS, I'm going to put output output. So okay, I'm just going to put it somewhere here. Let me change my script so that I can take care of that. Output stores. Let me change it to Hackaday. Let me change this to big retail. Big retail. Big retail. Where's this location? Big retail. Big retail. Just to make it clean. Big retail. So it's user Cloudera big retail. So I'm just going to create HDFS DFS make directory. I'm going to create big retail, right? So big retail, then we have other things in there. So for now, let's do this script password file. So I'm going to do HDFS DFS copy or put password file to big retail. Okay, so if you come right here, you would see the password file. Everybody has, and you see, everybody has permission to it. I can say HDFS DFS change mode to is it 400 big retail / password file. Good. So let's refresh. So only the user has a read. So I'm locking it down. This is just for security, right? This is just for security. So there's the password, right? This is the security. And because I am Cloudera, I'm the only one that have access to this. So having done that, now I want to execute all this here. But for me to do that, I need to change this big retail. So I get it can access the password file. So let's execute this one. We'll paste, on a normal day I would do this as a script, right? I just want to show you one example. That is fine. Once that is done, we can now do Sqoop list and see how many jobs we have. Yes, we have one job, load customer. So let's execute everything else. Let's execute everything else. Okay, let's list how many things we've done. We have 4 Sqoop jobs, right? We have 4 Sqoop jobs. So can we see information about these jobs? You have what we call info, then load customers. I got that wrong. So I'll type help. So I think it is show, not info. I just want to see what about the job? Okay, so look at the job. So Sqoop knows about the job, and Sqoop sees that, okay, you have a job, it's an import job, and these are the properties of the job. So you see, Sqoop has its own meta store, right? Like Hive has a meta store, and when you create Sqoop jobs, it keeps the meta store. The important thing I want to show you is that incremental mode is date last modified. That is what I specified as the incremental mode. Yes, incremental mode, right? Then I will see what's the last value. We're trying to check the last value, incremental column. I'm using this incremental column, and it's going to store the last value so that anytime I execute it, it knows where it last stopped. Maybe how to pick it right now. Let's check another one. Load sales order headers. Is it header or headers? I can't remember. Header. There's no S. So let's look at another incremental mode this time. This is just append, right? So in this case, it is append. And the other one was what? Note the difference. This is just date last modified. And what's the difference? The difference is this is customer data. I want to capture any field. Once a customer comes and makes changes to their record, so the data will change. So I want to capture the changes that customers will make to their records, not just the initial time it moves. So I'm doing what I call that. And when you do that, the last modified date will change because that's the last time the data of the customer changes. So I'm tracking the entire customer payload, not just the entry. But for something like sales order, you would not update a sales order. Once an order has been made, it has been made. If you want to reverse an order, you enter a reversal order, you don't update that order. So that is. Then secondly, products. Product also, you can edit products, right? You can change the prices of the product. You can do a lot of things to the product. So I want to capture the full details. Does that mean there will be duplicates after a while? Yes, but then I'll take care of that duplicate when I come to data processing stage. But right now, the difference is for other details and other header, I will only do insert, append. But when it comes to customer, products, clients, salespersons, territories, other stuff in the ERD, right? I will use last update date. For example, business entities, I will use modified dates. But when I come to this, I will only use append only. When I come to persons, states and province, I mean, you cannot change a country, right? But if something about the country changes, like the GDP, and you want to take that, it will change. You want to capture that into HDFS, but you don't want to duplicate it, and we'll take care of duplication when we come to Apache Spark or data processing. We'll take care of duplications. For now, just note that there are two types. You can capture everything and duplicate data. You can only take latest, and that is why we have this incremental type. This incremental type is last modified. So old records that were changed will be captured. This incremental type is append, so we will not capture. We're not capturing data that are changed. Why? Because we don't expect you to change an order. That's a crime in the world of accounting. Secondly, we are using the check column we are using is the modified date. So we're using the modified date because we know that the application that is going to be populating database for every update will change the modified date. And let me tell you why I'm so sure about that uncertainty. I mean, that is very true. There's something that is very, very easy to miss that I did not mention. Let's use AdventureWorks. Sorry. Good. Let's describe sales order header. Look at this. Anytime you modify the database, it will reflect the new current timestamp. So that is why I was setting that I can use that date to track, and that is true. So, but if you don't have such a thing, you have to go back to the stakeholders and ask them, if a customer data is changed, how do I know? How do I get the updates of customer data? So if they have another mechanism, they will tell you, then you come and update your script, your Sqoop script. So that is it, right? Now let's execute it.